Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Karan and today I'm going to show you guys how to pop colors or enhance colors in Photoshop. So let me show you what I mean. I have this photo open. This is the actual image open on my software and it's a good photo, but it's not as colorful as I want it to be. So I've created this layer in my layers panel called levels 1. This is an adjustment layer and I'm just going to make this visible so I can show you what a difference what we're going to do, and you get a better understanding of what I mean when I say I'm going to enhance the color, right? And as you can see, as soon as I made that color visible, there's so much more detail into the colors on this photo. If I hide that again, we go back to the normal image, and it's quite the useful tool to know. And yeah, let's just get into the video, right? I'm going to delete these two layers first off. So we're just going to start from scratch. I have this image open, I have its background layer. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer. And the reason I'm duplicating this layer is because I don't want any permanent damage onto my photo, right? So if I mess up somewhere, at least I have a background layer still there, right? So the easiest way to duplicate a layer is to click Ctrl plus J on your keyboard or Command plus J if you're using a Mac. And as you can see, as soon as you do that, you have a layer called layer 1, and it's an exact copy. It's like I said, it's a duplicate. It's an exact copy of the background layer. So if I hide my background layer and show you just the layer 1, you can see that it's the same image. Right now with layer 1 selected, we're going to go to our adjustments panel in our panel section. If you cannot find this panel, you can go to your menu bar, which is right at the top of your software. You can go to your window option and just select adjustments from the drop down that appears, and you'll have the same panel open. And what we're going to do is in adjustments panel, we're going to go and select levels, and this is this icon right here. And when you select levels, you'll get this property panel that will open up, as well as if you go to your layers panel, you will find that a new layer has been made called levels 1 because that's the option we selected. And that's done automatically as soon as you select it. And this is called an adjustment layer, right? So when you have your properties panel open, the first thing you'll notice is this graph, this something somewhat similar to a graph, right? And what this graph is actually a representation of all the colors that are available in this photo. And one thing to notice here are these three markers right at the bottom of the graph, right? So these three markers represent three different colors, right? Your left one represents blacks or black tones, and the middle one represents mid tones or grays, and the rightmost marker represents the color white, right? Or white or lighter tones. So right now, as you can see by the graph, there's no value here. It's a 0 for black. So that means there's no black. There's no black in this image that's found. And what we're going to do is I'll show you how this works. So if you drag these markers around, so I'm going to drag this, and as you can see, as I'm dragging the black marker towards the right, the image gets so much more darker. And if I do that vice versa with the white one, the image starts to get very light as well, right? So if you want to darken this image somewhat, because there's no black right now, you take your black slider and you move it somewhere around where the graph starts from the left hand side. And you can see in the image, as I'm doing this, it starts to darken up, and yeah, I think 28 was fine. And then I'm going to mess with the whites, right? It's quite light enough, but I'll just work on it a little bit more, just so I am comfortable with it. You guys can mess around and see which color where you find that the image looks good enough, and you can just leave it there. I like it somewhat over here. And that's it. You just made your adjustment layer. It's called a levels layer, and you've just enhanced your color on your image. So if you hide this layer in your layers panel, you can see that layer 1, which is your normal image, is not looking so great after you've done some editing on it. There's one more adjustments layer I'm going to show you, and that's called curves. It's a curve option in your adjustments layer. So we're going to hide this levels layer, go back and select our layer 1, go to adjustments panel and click on curves, right? It's this icon right next to the levels icon. And as soon as you click, similar to the levels option, if you go to your layers panel, you'll have a new layer called curves 1, and your property panel will open as well, right? And you can see that there are two markers here as well, but we are not going to mess with the markers in this one. I'll show you another way to do it through the curves panel. And what you're doing is effectively the same thing, but I find that curves gives me a lot more control over what my image looks like. And we're going to use these three eyedropper icons here. Each icon here represents a color. So the bottommost one is your white point, or a white, it's for your white tones, right? The topmost one is black and your middle one is for your mid-tones or grays. And what we're going to do is we're going to select the white eyedropper tool, and we're going to select a color from this image that represents white the most accurately, right? So for me, somewhere on this lamp is a good starting point for white, and I just click on that. As you can see, the colors already changed a little bit. After this, we're going to go and select the black eyedropper tool, and we're going to try and find some black in this image. So right now I don't see anything, but if I keep zooming in and I'll move my image around, I'm moving the image by pressing spacebar and just holding it and dragging the photo along as this hand symbol appears. And what I can see is that there's some black here, right? So I'll zoom in further, and there's some black here, and with my black eyedropper tool selected, I'm just gonna click on that. And now I'll click Ctrl 0 to see the difference it's made. As you can see, it's a lot more pleasant for me. You guys can mess around with it and see whatever suits you, and keep just selecting colors and keep making them darker, lighter, however you want. It's good practice, and you will often be doing this when you're working on a project of your own, because oftentimes the images you have to work with are not the most optimal image you have. Maybe you need a colorful image, and this is how you do it, right? So we'll do one more image. I already have this image open, and I've taken my images from pexels.com. I will link the, I'll write down the link in the description box below as well, so you can find out who's taken the image, and I'm crediting the author as well. Same thing, we're going to go to the background panel. We're going to duplicate, that's Control or Command plus J on your keyboard. Layer 1's formed. I'm going to hide background layer. I'm going to go to my adjustments panel. I'm going to go to levels, and I'm going to mess with the black marker first. Take it somewhere around here, maybe 20. And we'll work with the white as well. Make it go a little bit around here. Yeah. And yeah, you can keep messing around with it till you get a image that you think is good enough. I'm going to hide this, and I'm going to show you how we did it with curves once more. Adjustment panels, all we did was we selected layer 1, we went to adjustments panel, and we clicked on curves, right? I'm going to take my white point eyedropper tool here, try and find a white color that looks good by zooming in. And you know what, I think the sky looks closest to white here, so I can't find a proper white. And I'll just select that, and then I'll go for a black by zooming out first with Ctrl 0, selecting the black eyedropper tool here. And I guess I'll zoom in again because these pillars on the side seem to be black as well. And I'll just choose this color, and there you go. You have a much more colorful image. So I'm going to hide this layer. You can see this is the actual image, and this is what it looks like with the curves adjustment layer. So that's all that I have for this video. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please do like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps out. Let me know in the comments if you have any requests for a tutorial, and I'll see what I can do with Photoshop. And Yeah, stay tuned in for my next video, guys. Thanks for watching.